Keeping kids safe means keeping kids off the street, especially after hours. We want to spend the next few minutes reviewing the existing curfew laws. The curfew ordinance is under Chapter 8, Section 16-20 of the Municipal Code. It is titled Curfew Hours for Minors. The curfew ordinance applies to all those under the age of 17. On weeknights, curfew hours are from 2200 hours until 0600 hours the following day. Again, these hours apply to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On weekend nights, Friday and Saturday, the curfew hours are from 2300 hours until 0600 hours the following day. We want to take a moment to remind you the law spells out 9 instances when it is permissible for a minor to be out past curfew. It is a defense if the minor is in the presence of a parent or guardian, on an errand at the parent or guardian's direction with no stop or detour, in a car involved in interstate travel, engaged in employment activity or going to or from work with no stops or detours, involved in an emergency, on the sidewalk abutting either the minor's residence or the neighbor's residence, if the neighbor did not complain about the minor's presence to police, attending, going to, or returning from an official school, religious, or other recreational activity supervised by adults and sponsored by the city, a civic organization, or a similar entity that takes responsibility for the minor. Exercising First Amendment rights protected by the U.S. Constitution, such as free exercise of religion, freedom of speech, and the right of assembly. And one final defense, if the minor is married or had been married or is a legally emancipated minor. Before a police officer can take any enforcement action under the curfew ordinance, the officer must make a reasonable inquiry of the juvenile as to what he or she is doing out past curfew hours in order to determine whether or not any of these defenses exist. Based upon this inquiry and all circumstances known to the officer, you must form a reasonable belief as to whether any defenses exist. An officer shall not take enforcement action under this section unless the officer reasonably believes that there has been a violation of the curfew ordinance and that, in addition, none of the defenses apply. Knowledge about what is going on in your district and your beat will help you in forming that reasonable belief. If, however, based on the totality of the circumstances and your conversation, you have formed a reasonable belief that the minor is in violation of the curfew ordinance and none of the defenses apply, you will proceed with enforcement action. Your inquiry must be documented on a contact information card or notice of curfew violation. One final reminder, and this is a recent change from years past. Under the curfew ordinance, there is no provision for impoundment of a juvenile's vehicle. Chicago's curfew ordinance is an effective law enforcement tool for protecting juveniles from becoming victims, as well as preventing young people from becoming offenders. Thank you for your time, and remember, stay safe.